Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be playing Silent Hill 1 on the PlayStation 1. You probably saw that from the title of the video. Now, this isn't obviously Silent Hill 1 right here, but I figured that I would want to start the video going through basically what I'm going to be doing in the game, which is going for the 10-star rank. Now, if anybody's ever gone for the 10-star rank before, you're probably pretty familiar with maybe some of the different categories that you're going to have to complete in order to get this 10-star rank. Now, if you do know any of that sort of thing, I'll put a timestamp where I'll just kind of skip over this and go right into the game. However, if you're not wanting to skip that, stick around. I'm going to just explain a few things here. So, I'm basically just going to be going over what we're going to have to do in this to get the 10-star rank, and I'm going to kind of keep it short. I did a recording of this already, and I was not extremely pleased with it because it was like 30 minutes long, so I'm going to try to keep this one kind of short, okay? So first, starting out, we're going to just talk about each category, and I'm going to go ahead and go down to this category section. I did figure that going to the Silent Hill Memories website and showing it this way would have been more better than just kind of talking into the microphone and just talking about it through voice only. It's just kind of more of a visual. I'll leave the link to this guide in the description if you need it. I used it a lot for this run, so it's very helpful. So, first things first, I'm just going to go over each category and then what we have to do in each category to actually get the 10-star rank. You may see over here that there's actually 10 stars or whatever. That is actually because the way the ranking system works is that it's actually more of like 100 stars. Each one gold star is worth 10 smaller stars. So you can get like, a 67, and that's actually a 6.7. So you'd get a 6 golds and 7 smalls, which would be 67 or 6.7 out of 10. Whichever way you want to, think about it, I guess. So this is the breakdown of how much each category is worth in terms of small stars rewarded. Each category will add up to the end of getting 100 stars. The requirements for said categories is the mode needs to be hard, due to how New Game Plus works in Silent Hill 1, where if you do New Game, you will have to play on a harder difficulty than your previous playthrough. So, technically you can play on normal, but it's not really going to be possible to get the 10-star rank because you have to play on New Fear to get your game clears over 5 or more. Doesn't matter which endings you get. I do recommend you get one of each ending, but it doesn't matter. The ending for this run is going to be the Good Plus ending, and again, I will probably explain all this in the actual video. I'm just going to go over the basic overview of what we're going to be going for. The ending is a little bit more time-consuming than the other ones, but not in another area, so it's not really that big a deal. Saves, we can get up to 2 saves while also retaining that 1 gold star. Or you can, go all out and not save. However, I did use 2 saves for this run because there's one portion of the game you're absolutely going to need to save. And again, I'm going to go over this later. But continues, you can have 1 continue. I'm not going to really explain that. I'm pretty sure you probably know what a continue is if you've ever played a video game, I feel like. Total time, this is probably the most ridiculous amount because you need to beat it in under an hour and a half. Now, that is pretty tight. I will say my time, I believe, was around an hour, 17 minutes, hour, 18 minutes. So it's a pretty tough time to beat. However, it's very doable if you follow everything I do in this video, or take my advice, I guess. Items, 150 out of 204. So there's 204 items in the game. We just have to get 150 of them. Plus 5, meaning we have to get the extra items as well. And extra items you get from getting game clears. In this case, and I'm looking over at my other monitor right now because I have them written down because I forget things sometimes. Katana, chainsaw, rock drill, gasoline tank, I just lost my place. Wow. Oh, there it is. Channeling stone and the hyper blaster. You only have to get 5 of them, but there are 6 extra items, so I'm going to get all 6 in this run, but just keep in mind if you want to skip one, you're more than welcome to do so. Enemies by fighting and shooting. Look, I'm going to be honest, in the last recording I did of this, I kind of was explaining the formula for how this works. Now, I will leave this in the description in case you don't want to follow my advice. But you can see an asterisk here because you don't actually have to get 100 in each category. You just have to make it to where your kills in each category add up to a certain number to get the stars needed for this category, if that makes sense. I believe there's 3 stars that you can get from this category. So 30 small ones, 3 big ones. I'm just going to say it flat out right now. I recommend 100 in each category, point blank. Nothing more, nothing less. Well, you can go more, but nothing less. Yes, you can do it without that. However, I just strongly advise 100 in each. If you need to see the formula, like I said, this guide will be in the description, but I didn't want this portion to be too long, so I'm going to just say 100 in each. I may explain it a little bit more in the actual video. However, for right now, I'm just going to say 100 or more in each category. Just remember that. And then shooting style. Look, I'm going to be honest, you're not going to be able to calculate this on the fly. You're not going to be able to calculate this. It's impossible, in my opinion. Just keep in mind, and again, the guide will give you advice as well if you don't want to take mine. I'm going to be honest, a lot of the advice I have to give you came from this guide. But limiting this to 0.10 or under is a very good goal in order for getting the shooting style star. I will give you a tip toward the end of the game on how to increase this very easily, particularly in the long range portion. It's in the guide too, obviously, but just keep in the back of your mind, try to not miss shots. You will be penalized for it. There is a formula, and again, I'm not going to really go over it. However, just know that you get penalized the most for no aiming shots. So be very careful about that. And I mean, other than that, I mean, you can kind of see a sample of what this person who wrote this guide got on their playthrough, which is, you know, their clear is pretty similar to mine, except for a couple of areas. But you'll see at the end of the video exactly what stats I got. I'm going to kind of keep it a secret. But yeah, no, I mean, that's pretty much it. Most of the advice and all the things I need to talk about are going to be said in the video. We're going to have an entire hour and a half to talk about all this stuff. I just kind of wanted to go over briefly what we're going to have to do in the actual playthrough to get this 10-star rank, so you're not like kind of lost and confused. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and shoot it back over to the game, and we're going to go ahead and get started on this run of Silent Hill 1. I gotta say, this is probably one of the harder games in the series to get a 10-star rank. I don't think it's the hardest. However, it's kind of a doozy, and I'll get more into it when we get into the video. So sorry, I'm rambling. Going over there right now. All right, guys. So we are back to the game. If you skip that little portion at the very beginning, I was just really going over some of the requirements for this ranking. If you already know the requirements, then there's, I guess, no reason to watch that. But you're going to actually see me go into the options here on the main menu to adjust my bullet adjust. If you didn't know, you can press LB, RB, or L1, R1 at the same time, depending on your controller. And you can change bullet adjust to go to 6 times if you've beaten the game, I believe 5 times. So 6 times bullet adjust is the highest. However, you're going to have to do it in-game, as it doesn't stick once you're in the actual game. Now, I am going to go ahead and just kind of say it. I am playing on an emulator. on Duck Station. I do have some of the PGXP graphical enhancements turned off due to a few areas in the game where it can crash if you have them on, as well as widescreen hack. That is also off because it can also crash the game. So since in cutscenes it is going to count down our time, as you can see 5 times, I have to change it to 6 times when I'm actually in game. If you watch cutscenes, it does count towards your time, and again, like I said at the beginning of the video, an hour and a half is very, very kind of close, so you really don't want to waste time with cutscenes too much. But we are going to go ahead and grab...
What's that? Huh. Radio. What's going on with that radio?
Alright, so this first enemy, I'm going to just blast. And yes, there are some cutscenes that you can't skip like that one.
This is not a dream. What's happening to this place?
Alright, so that was our first Air Screamer. The Air Screamer, I'm going to go ahead and say it, you're really going to want to avoid those enemies. I really don't try to go for them very often, but you might see me go for them more later in the game. Here at the beginning, we're going to avoid them like the plague. And we're going to also run right over here and pick up these 2 boxes of handgun bullets. With 6 times bullet adjust, I believe you're going to get 90 handgun bullets per pickup. So you're not going to run out of ammo. I will say, though, if you've never played with bullet adjust, or if you didn't know it was a thing, 6 times bullet adjust, like I said, will put you at 90 handgun bullets. However, 200 is like the max you can actually hold. So even if we, let's say, you know, we pick up like 180 handgun bullets from 2 pickups, you can't go over 200 like whatsoever. So these items I'm picking up right now are pointless because we're already at 200 handgun bullets. However, as you remember from the beginning of the video, and if you've seen some of the categories on the end screen, you're going to need 150 items to get the gold star. So we're going to be picking up these items just to fulfill that requirement. I will say that I did go over by about 20 items. So if you see about, you can count about 20 items in this run. If you feel like you don't need to pick those up, then by all means, you know, don't pick them up. But I didn't really route this where I made sure that I was picking up each and every item based off of like some sort of predetermined plan that I had. I kind of just... I won't lie, I did have the Japanese Silent Hill navigation guide. I don't remember the name. I actually own it in person, but I actually just used the scans off of like the archive.org. And I literally made maps for this on what items I would pick up, which ones were worth it, which ones weren't. So you shouldn't really need a map to be able to do this other than just watching this video. I can guarantee you if you watch this video, you will get a 10-star rank if you follow everything in it. I'm going to be basically just giving tips on what you should do, what you shouldn't do, that sort of thing. If you didn't already know, this is going to be post-commentary. I'm not doing live commentary. I figured it'd be easier to like explain a lot of stuff if I wasn't like being preoccupied with the actual game. So as you can see, I'm just completely ignoring these air screamer. I get the enhanced version of them mixed up with this version. But we're just, you know, obviously you're gonna have to have beaten the game 5 times at this point. You know exactly where the keys are. I'm just going to get the keys so that we can open up Doghouse House, so that we can get to Night Silent Hill, so that we can get to the school. Now you're gonna actually see me shoot and kill these dogs, groaners, whatever you want to call them. I recommend only really going for the dogs because they're really easy to put down, especially if they lunge at you. So if they lunge at you, you can actually put them down in one shot if you shoot them out of the air. However, you know, this air screamer right here I'm actually going to go for just because it's not flying around. You can go for that one. You don't have to. I'd probably actually just recommend ignoring it, but I just went ahead and did it. Alright, so we're going to come into the convenience store here. This would be the first area of the game I would say that you could probably skip. The only reason I came was for the health drinks. Hard mode can get pretty difficult. I'm not going to lie. In my opinion, I think it's really one of the hardest Silent Hill games to, like, avoid taking damage. Some of the enemies are just, like, unavoidable in taking damage unless you're really skilled at dodging them. As you saw earlier with the air screamers, you kind of have to zigzag so that you miss that grapple attack they kind of do on you. Well, not really a grapple attack, but that you know, their normal attack. They will be faster than Harry, so you have to hit that zigzag so that they miss their attack. Also, we're going to be skipping the alleyway where Cheryl had ran down and left a note for us to go to the school, because we already know to go to the school. So I kind of skipped that because it's just a waste of time. If for some reason you wanted the pipe, I mean, go out right ahead, do it. But I would recommend not doing that. There's not really anything worth it down there. A lot of dogs. So we're going to take out this groaner right here. And there's going to be another one right here that's actually going to hit me. Because if you haven't noticed already, after 5 playthroughs, this game can get very, very clunky. Like, I'm not kidding. I think this game is clunkier than Resident Evil, in my humble opinion. Like, this game is clunk. Now, we do actually have to pick this up. You can't avoid this. Harry has to know to be able to look into the doghouse with that note. If you don't pick up that note, he won't know to look into the doghouse. I've already tried it. But yeah, we're going to go and pick that up and immediately go to the doghouse, pick up the key to open the house itself, and then go right through to, I want to call it like Night Silent Hill. Pick up that. And like I said, man, you're going to be using some health items. If there's anything that you should be prioritizing, it depends on your skill in the game, honestly. If you feel like you don't really need this many healing items, you can, like I said, 20 items or so you can skip. I hit around 170 or so items picked up. So, I mean, there's about 20 you can cut out of this run if you're having trouble with time. However, I think health items and rifle shells are probably the most important pickups in the entire run. Like, the entire run. Those are the most important pickups. And the game gives you a lot at this beginning portion of the game before you get to the school at Midwich. I'll also say this little route I take over here to kill these 2 groaners to get a couple items, I would say you could probably skip these. I don't really see, again, hindsight 2020, I didn't really route this out as well as I probably should have. So again, I picked up more items than I needed. I ended the game with more items than I needed. But I was just thinking about the kills here, so I was kind of like, you know, 2 free kills. Alright, so we're going to be running toward the Midwich Elementary School. Or is it middle? I don't actually remember. We're going to be going to take a detour into the school bus first, because again, 2 free health drinks. I don't know if you can actually see how many healing items I have before I enter this school, but man, oh man, you are going to need them. Some of those classrooms are absolutely screwy with how many enemies that they put in there. I mean, I'm talking like 4 gray childs in 1 classroom. I mean, it's asinine. And right there. Hold on. So, okay, so let me give you a tip real quick on how to avoid some of the clunkiness in Silent Hill 1. Alright, pro tip. When Harry is running, you're going to notice that when you stop running, he is going to, like, do that lurch where he basically, like, takes, like, a second, half a second or so to, like, stable himself so that he can actually ready his weapon and shoot. 90% of the time, if that happens right next to an enemy, you're going to get hit. It happens all the time, and you're going to see me do that in this run. The reason that you're going to see it so often is because I could not, it's like a habit, I can't stop doing this. However, pro tip, holding down the left stick while also holding the run button, if you let go of left stick, he's going to do that, like, sudden stop animation. If you let go of the run button instead of the left stick when he's running, he actually will completely skip that. So, if you're running and you're holding down left stick up, and you let go of the run button, instead of letting go of left stick, you're actually going to prevent yourself from stopping, like, abruptly. Like, you let go of the run button instead of left stick. If you let go of left stick instead of the run button, Harry's going to do that lurch, and you're going to get hit, like, 90% of the time. I can almost guarantee it. So just kind of try to keep that in your head, like, letting go of the run key or button or whatever. Not the actual analog stick itself or D-pad or whatever you're using. So as you can see, the Great Children are already, like, off to a great start. I mean, they put 3 of them right here next to the door. I mean, it is brutal, some of the rooms you're going to see in here. I would recommend... we'll get to it when we get to it, but a lot of times you could see, like, right there, I just immediately know that there's going to be an enemy on every time on the other side of a door, and I just instantly ready my weapon and start shooting. You do not have a whole lot of time to waste there. Especially, I mean, the Great Children can kill you very quickly. If they latch onto you, and there's another one nearby, that one can hit you with a knife. Even at full health, if they latch onto you and they're hitting you with a knife while you're getting surrounded, I recommend immediately going into the menu and healing. I cannot stress that enough. You can die so quickly to these enemies. It is crazy. Also, real quick, another pro tip. You probably know this after 5 playthroughs, but you never really have to go into the menu to reload. I will on certain occasions. But every time Harry, like, puts his weapon down from having it readied, he will actually reload the gun. So just make it a habit, like right here, when he puts his weapon away and I go to stomp out, he's actually going to reload the weapon. So you can use that little trick to reload really fast. And you can probably see right here, we're actually just collecting the medallions. I think it's called, like, this is the gold medallion, there's going to be a silver medallion. We need to collect those so that we can get into, I guess, the clock tower looking room, so that we can go to Nightmare version of this school. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Again, I'm kind of just flying through it. If you see me skip classrooms or whatever, it's because I just don't deem them worthy for that 1 health drink or 1 box of handgun bullets. I would just completely only take the route that you see in this video. Again, I would recommend looking up some maps and routing it out on a map if you're more visual that way. That's what I did. I literally had the maps in Microsoft Paint and, like, straight up, like, drew routes. And it really helped whenever I can just, like, look over real fast. to my maps while I'm playing, just to get, you know, okay, this room's got this many enemies. Remember that, you know what I mean? Also, real quick, I know I'm kind of rambling a lot, but you can actually see the gray children are very easy to miss because they're small, it's dark, and you can miss them from longer ranges. So I recommend staying at that mid-range like you just saw me right there. It'll help a lot with your rank at the end. So try to keep them at mid-range if you can, but, you know, also remember that they are easy to miss, so if you have to get close range, I definitely recommend that as well. And you're going to see the puzzle solution for this right here. I'm going to show it right on screen. Can't remember if I screwed this one up the first time. I think I may have screwed it up. Okay, I did screw it up. Don't watch that one. It's a little bit hard to control the pointer. So yeah, just that one right there. That was the solution. Do not use the solution I screwed up earlier. So we're getting the other medallion right now, and we're gonna go right back to the clock tower. And I'm gonna just go ahead and say it, the clock tower nightmares portion of this school is absolutely the hardest part of the game, in my opinion. I can't stand it. It is so difficult. If you can get past that portion, you can do anything. This game isn't super hard after that. There's some difficult areas. But man, the nightmare portion of the school is just absolutely insanely difficult. And just as a quick aside, I guess, real quick. Yes, I know you're gonna see me going for like stomps. There's a reason for that. So as you know, I remember, if you remember me explaining at the beginning of this video that you need 100 kills with shooting and 100 kills with melee or fighting, whatever you want to call it. Sorry, my nose is a little bit stopped up, so if you see me, if you hear me sniff a couple times, I'm really sorry about that. But it does count as a fighting kill if we stomp them out. Even if we use a handgun to down them, it's what kills them is what matters. So as you can see, we you know, I've activated the clock tower by putting the 2 medallions, so now we can come down here to the furnace and activate this boiler. Is it the boiler furnace? I think it's the furnace, but we're in the boiler room, whatever. And that should allow us to go into the clock tower looking room. I don't know what to call it really, but... And you're going to see me kill every single gray child and not run past them, because we need those 100 kills in each category. Now, highly recommended. Highly recommended. Only go for fighting kills up until you get the rifle. Only go for fighting kills, because the rifle is a very good weapon for shooting kills. So once we get the rifle, you know, we're going to be prioritizing shooting kills after that. Doing it that way pretty much allowed me to get 100 in each category, no problem. I had more than 100 in each category. So, I mean, just as a, you know, a reminder. That is... Sorry about that. I had to put my phone on silent. It kind of went off. You're going to see me solving a lot of puzzles here. I'm picking up the rubber ball so that we can go to the roof and plug up that hole so that we can get the key. I mean, you know, it's Silent Hill puzzles. This is... It is what it is. I'm sure after 5 playthroughs, you should probably know the puzzles and how to solve them. This is just going to be my optimal route to get to each item as quickly as possible. Now, I mean, there might be a faster way to do it. I'm not a speedrunner. You're going to just see that you're going to get absolutely just pulverized in this room. There's like 4 creepers, which are these roach enemies. They're just going to absolutely bombard you as soon as you come in. I mean, they put like 4 of them in here. Oh, 5. Wow. No, there's like 5 in this one room. But that's 5 stomps. I mean, it's super, super easy 5 kills right there. They don't do too much damage. But I really, really recommend if you're having trouble following the video due to how labyrinthian the game feels, I really, really recommend just drawing a map if it's really starting to, like... You just see, like, I missed so many hits right there. And you can see, like, I got grabbed, hit. Instantly go into your menu and heal. I'm not kidding. Go into your menu, heal. I think I just say... Do I actually kill? Okay, I kill all these. Look at the 4 gray children that are in this room. And if you try to run to get away from them so that they don't gang up on you on the door, I screwed up right there and let my gun reload. You're going to see pretty fast that this is not a perfect run whatsoever. Yeah, I knew that guy was coming. I think I may have just killed that one with a shooting kill. And it's fine if that does happen. Just prioritize fighting kills over shooting kills. Oh, no, never mind. He didn't die. I mean, you're going to take damage. This is exactly why I say pick up as much healing items as possible, because they will put you in orange caution super easily. I think there's going to be a room later on where I was, like, raging when this happened. I just got mashed up in a room. Like, it was bad. The gray children really do not play around. And if you're playing the EU version of the game, you're actually going to see mumblers here. Functionally, they're pretty similar. We'll see some mumblers later in the game. However, if you're playing the EU version of the game, there is no gray children, I believe. Could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure. So in this room specifically, I immediately run right and go take care of that guy, because there's actually going to be another one to your left, Harry's left. And if you don't make a play like kind of early coming through that door, you're going to get sandwiched in between both of them. But you're definitely going to want to come in here because of the amp pool. So you just saw that I used the picture card right there. This room... Okay, so this is going to be your teleporting bathroom. If you go into the door that I just went into, it'll actually teleport you to a different floor that's inaccessible other than this teleportation technique. And you can get like 3 boxes of ammo like you just saw that I did. So you're seeing me enter and leave instantly. It's to teleport myself. And now you can see this door has actually got the shotgun. I don't remember if I spoke upon this in the beginning of the video, but the shotgun, it's not really going to be used too much on regular enemies. You're going to see me use it a couple times because I you know, if you're putting the barrel down them, it's hard to miss the pellets. But the way they program the game is that your missed shots are a lot easier to do with the shotgun due to the way that the pellets work. So, I recommend not using the shotgun almost at all, other than boss fights. And yeah, I just kind of ran right toward him. Like, look at the onslaught of enemies here. You're going to see me go into my menu and reload. But, I mean, again, you can lower your weapon and reload that way. I just like going into the menu because I'm just trying to make sure that they don't close the gap. Four enemies in this one room, man. I mean, it is sadistic sometimes, and all you really have is a handgun because the shotgun is a horrible weapon to use against them. Alright, so now we're on the roof. This is where we're going to use our rubber ball. But we have to look at the key first to be able to turn the valve over there. You're gonna see me make mistakes though in this run. It's not a perfect run whatsoever, especially in the school toward the end. I think I'd straight up just go into the wrong room at some points. You're just gonna see that, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I do use 2 saves to beat this because you're allowed 2 saves. The first save, you're gonna see me. You're gonna see me save here in the school because Splithead is probably the most annoying boss in the game, bar none for me. I did die to him in this run. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I have edited it out in this video just because there's really no point in showing it. But you're gonna see where I edited it out. I'll point it out. But yeah, I did die to him once. Which is exactly why I saved there, because then I wouldn't have had to replay this entire nightmare school again. And I really, really recommend saving there. I mean, you can use your saves wherever you want, wherever you don't feel comfortable. But in my opinion, man, dude, the Splithead boss is probably one of the worst bosses in the game. Even if you know what to do, which is backing up and shooting right into his mouth with the shotgun, I still die. Unless you're like a master at that boss, 100% just save right before him. I really, really recommend it. And I'll point out the other save whenever I get there. There's not really too much to talk about here. Like I said, I'm prioritizing fighting kills currently until we get the rifle. Picking up all these shotgun shells. Again, 6 times bullet adjust. We're really just trying to fulfill that 150 item requirement. The only thing I really, like I said, recommend prioritizing is rifle shells and healing items, like 100%. Especially like for the final boss, you're going to need tons of healing items for that. Alright, so right here, I believe we're getting a key. Can't remember the name of the key, actually. It is the library reserve key. Okay. It's been about like a month since I've done this run, and I'm just now doing the commentary on it, so forgive me if I've forgotten a few things here, but I mean, like, look at the creepers aren't that bad. They don't do that much damage. They're just kind of annoying because they're really, really fast. And thankfully in this version, in this game, unlike Silent Hill 2, you don't have to worry about damage taken, because man, oh man, this would be way more difficult if it was factoring that into account. You could just see me right here. I'm just getting stuck. I mean, I'm just getting ransacked right here. Oh, yeah, okay, this is the room. I'm just getting grabbed over and over. The chairs are just stopping me. I'm raging hard. Like, look at this. Like, 15 health drinks left. I really recommend... I mean, dude, how many great children are in here? Like 5 or 6? I mean, it is insane. I really, really recommend not trying to fight them in that room that I just went into. Don't do what I did and just try to run toward the wall, because there's a guy like positioned right on that wall. I would try to like run outwards and I don't know. Do whatever works for you. I mean, I kind of just brute forced it. Again, this is the hardest part of the game in my opinion. Absolutely. Everything looks the same. The enemies hit like freight trains. It's difficult. But I don't recommend saving at all, other than before the final boss here, because of it being so close to the beginning of the game. You can just restart. You can kind of see me try to keep them at bay. Again, it's really hard to like prioritize which one you're shooting at. Harry kind of just does it on the fly. You can kind of unaim your gun and aim your gun really fast to get him to switch targets, but it's not foolproof. And I would say about around 3, sometimes 4, you can handle, but 5 or more, you're just not going to be able to handle it. There are going to be just too many of them to shoot. Like right there, he's aiming at the guy at the roach that is downed already, and not the one in his face. I'm not gonna lie, with the creepers, I kind of just brute force them sometimes because they don't do that much damage, and like, jeez, man, trying to get Harry to like actually aim at the one that I want to aim at is a nightmare. So I really try to avoid it at all costs. Probably seen me do a lot of the puzzles in the background, but again, like I said, this would probably be your 6th playthrough. The 10-star rank is technically achievable in the 5th playthrough, but I recommend just doing it on the 6th playthrough. Just doing each ending on its own playthrough, and then just dedicating your 6th one to the 10-star rank is what I did. I think we're closing in on the end of the school here. We're unlocking that door so that we can circle back around to the first floor. And this is actually, yes, this is where I'm going to make my first save. You're going to probably see the cut. I tried to, like, cut it. It's a little bit faster right there. But, yeah, I cut that. I did die to this boss. I'm not even going to lie to you. I died to him. And I loaded my save. So I just edited that out. If that's not a good indicator that you should probably save before this boss, I don't know what is, because you could throw away a pretty good run of the school away on this boss. Like a good 30 minutes. We're at like 33 minutes right now, I believe, into the run, and like you could just easily throw that away. So we're actually going to turn the valve left twice here, and then turn this other valve on the left hand side right once. And then that should solve the puzzle. And then we're going to go right into the boss fight with Splithead. And there's only a few pieces of advice I can give you on this boss. Shotgun, yes, I do use the shotgun on this boss. I would not recommend using the shotgun at all before this point in the game. Especially on the Grey Children, being that they're small and easy to miss. You're going to, like, miss a lot. So I just kind of unload into him, because it's really hard to miss shots on a big boss like Splithead. You're gonna see me backing up and shooting him right there. What I would recommend, and you're gonna have to do, I think, well, I can't remember, is it 4 shots to the mouth or 5, 6? I can't remember. We're gonna see right here, but you're going to want to bait him by, I think it is around 5 or 6. So you're going to want to bait him by nudging into his mouth like that. You have to be close enough to him for him to open his mouth. So if you're just backpedaling constantly, he's never going to open his mouth. And then you're possibly going to get wedged up against a wall, and then he'll just kill you. So what I would recommend is actually move forward, touch his mouth with your body, like rub up against the tip of his mouth. That'll initiate him to open the mouth, and then as soon as you press forward to do that, just start backing up instantly. If you don't do that, he will kill you instantly. I mean, it's an instant kill, which is why I saved beforehand. Now, I did mention this earlier. I am playing this on an emulator. Now, it is in 60 FPS, but as you can see, I don't have the widescreen hack on or the PGXP corrections. And that is because the game will crash if you have those on in 3 different areas. I'll let you know what those 3 different areas are, just in case you're wanting to use those and don't really mind turning it off for those 3 specific sections. However, I didn't want to have to mess with that during this ranking run, so I kind of just turned them off. 60 FPS won't break anything, though. So we're exiting the school currently. And we need to make our way to a house that is marked, I believe it's marked on the map, I can't remember. From the key we picked up in the boiler room in the Midwich school. I'm just going to ignore that Groner lunge right there and then just turn around and shoot him. And yeah, he can miss the stomp like that. It's really frustrating when that happens, and it happens a lot, so make sure that you're kind of close enough to the enemy so that you can actually, like, hit the stomp. Alright, so we've opened up the house here, and we can pick up the handgun bullets. And we're going to exit the house so that we can get to the other portion of the town. So right now we're on 11th Street. From that sign. I'm going to pick up these health drinks. Like I said, I pretty much go out of my way to pick up nearly every healing item in the game. I don't pick up every one of them, but I pick up nearly all of them. I did route out a lot of the pickups on the map. I didn't route out the amount of items, but I did route out pretty much all the pickups that you see here on the map. And, you know, I threw away the certain ones that I didn't think were worth picking up or whatever. So there were items in... There were items in the school that I did not pick up because it would just be like a classroom of like 3 enemies and like 1 health drink. So you're probably going to get hit trying to get the health drink. It's not worth it. Not really much to talk about here. We're really just making our way to the Balkan Church. You're going to see me cut left right here to pick up the chainsaw. Each extra item. So every time you beat the game, I believe, you get a new extra item. Or no, I think you get the gasoline tank for beating the game once. And then you can use the gasoline tank on, let's say, the chainsaw for that next run. And then the next run, you can use the gasoline tank on the rock drill. And then each subsequent playthrough, like the chainsaw, for instance, is already going to be filled with gasoline. And the rock drill will already be filled with gasoline so that you can use both. Katana, I believe you have to get a certain ending. I don't remember off the top of my head. But like I said, fully recommend it. It's not a requirement for the 10-star rank, but I recommend just getting every ending at least once. You have to kind of get the UFO ending. If you want the upgrade that you get for getting this ranking, you get the green hyper blaster, so you have to get the UFO ending. You'll see me kind of show it off at the end of the playthrough here. I'll show off the green hyper blaster. It's kind of dumb how it works because I believe if you don't get another 10-star rank on that next sphere playthrough, it'll actually downgrade your hyper blaster. So I would really recommend making a separate save slot for that specific new fear run so that you don't lose it. You're actually going to come see me come in here and get the gasoline tank. Again, you only need 5 extra items, so this would be one that you could probably skip if you wanted to. With 6 extra items in the game, you can pretty much pick whichever one you think is not worth going to pick up. I'm going to be real right here. I really don't actually recommend coming down here to actually pick up these items. Yes, there's a free kill Groner, and you can see me miss him like a million times. But like I said, I pick over 20-ish more items than I need for this playthrough. You really don't need these ammo pickups whatsoever. So, I mean, it's a little out of the way. Kind of. So that's a good example of an area where you could probably skip some pickups. And as you can see, I'm pretty much ignoring all the air screamers. Because they're horrible enemies and I hate trying to kill them. You're gonna miss shots like crazy trying to kill them. So, I mean, I really recommend just completely skipping them in most situations. At least until you get the rifle, because the rifle, you don't really have to shoot them too many times to down them. whereas the handgun takes like a million shots. And I believe one of the air screamers over here on hard difficulty only spawns on hard difficulty, has like a lot of health for some reason. So actually this area right here is where you would want to turn off your widescreen hack and PGXP enhancements. I believe, yeah, this area, and I believe when you talk to Dahlia in the church, the Balkan church, you're also going to want to turn it off there. I failed to mention that then, but yeah, that cutscene will actually freeze and not load in the next area if you don't have PGXP corrections and widescreen hack off. Same with the bridge control right there. You want to turn it off right there before that cutscene kind of thing plays, like, because it'll freeze the game. I didn't want to have to deal with turning it off, so I just was like, screw it. For this run, I'm just gonna keep them off. I believe there's an item on that staircase right there. I skipped that one because I just completely don't need it. Also, you could go to the police station. There are items in there. There's like a good 3 or 4 boxes of ammo, I think. Shotgun and handgun ammo. However, I strongly recommend not going. Again, like I said, I had plenty of... You guys see me just missing shots like an idiot right there. I think I just... Yeah, I kind of recommend not actually killing these groaners right here. Just due to having 2 of them lunging at you at the same time is kind of annoying. They're really easy enemies by themselves. But if there's more than one, it's usually, it can be kind of bad like it was right there. Especially when you can't see them. So... Sorry, I got a little sidetracked. What was I talking about? Oh, the police station. I would skip it. There is an enemy over there you're going to see. I'm sure you've seen it before from 5 playthroughs again. Called the Romper. The Romper is easily the most disgusting, horrible enemy in the entire game. Bar none. You can't convince me otherwise. I can't stand them. You're going to see them later. Not right now, but you're going to see them later. And they are horrible, 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 horrible enemies. I cannot stress that enough. I mean, I'm getting flashbacks thinking of them. I mean, they are horrible. I'm not really going to get into them right now because we haven't seen them yet, but when we see them, I'm going to talk about it. So, right now, I'm kind of going into the specific rooms that I know that we need to do. We need that bottle for the good plus ending. Again, we have to get the good plus ending to get the 10-star rank. So we need that bottle to pick up the red liquid on the ground right here for Sybil. Don't ask me how to actually pronounce it because wow, it's a mouthful. I think it's Apagaglos. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's the red liquid. We need that for Sybil. And this is what I was talking about kind of at the beginning of the game. Is Good Plus makes the game take longer in one area, which is the Coffin side quest, when we have to go by Annie's bar and all that stuff. But it actually is a time saver in other areas, that being Sybil's boss fight. And Sybil's boss fight is a horrible boss fight. Awful, awful boss fight. If we had to fight Sybil for this specific run, man, I'm gonna be honest, man, that boss is just an awful fight for me. I don't know if I just don't know how to fight her correctly. I've seen some tutorial videos on YouTube and it still just doesn't click with me. I still get like, because if she shoots you, you're in danger, like instantly, like red health. So red health instantly from a shot. She gets like 20 shots. So you have to shoot, like, get her to waste all her ammo, and then, I mean, you have to shoot her like 1,000,000 times. It is an awful fight. But we get to skip it in this playthrough. So right here, we have to go to each floor and try each door before we can get to the mystery 4th floor you're going to see here in a minute. In Alchemilia Hospital. We didn't meet Kaufman earlier. I had to skip the cutscene, obviously, hour and a half. That's all you get. I believe the only time the time's not ticking down is in loading screens. So each time I open a door or a cutscene plays, it's loading the game. Cutscenes count towards your time, but not loading. So make sure that you make it snappy. Even if you're in your menu, if you pause the game, it will be ticking down. So there's no time to be checking stuff. So this is a new enemy. This is the puppet nurse. Best advice I can give you for these enemies, and I think honestly the puppet nurse is got to be one of the most like balanced enemies in the entire game. They can close the distance on you, but you can easily take care of them no problem because of all the stun that they get. As you can see that they do that kind of like wiggly animation if you shoot them, like right there. That's why you have to be careful when you're shooting them, because if you keep just unloading on them when they're doing that, then you'll actually kill them by shooting. And we really don't want that. We want to get fighting kills because, again, we're trying to get fighting kills early in the run so that way we can use the rifle to get our shooting kills later. So you're going to see me kind of stagger my shots like I am right there so that I don't kill her accidentally with shooting. However, you're going to see that if there's like 2 or 3 of them on you, or if I'm just being impatient, I'm just going to unload and like kill her with a shooting kill. And I mean, that's okay. That's going to happen. You're going to see me kind of trying to make up some fighting kills later, even when we get the rifle, and I'll point those out when they happen. So right now I'm kind of just, you know, making my rounds to these doors. Just like every other area in this game, a lot of the areas are going to look the same due to the labyrinthian game design that this game has. Also, just one more thing on the puppet nurses. The green ones do take more hits to go down. I believe the puppet doctors take the most hits, maybe? But the puppet nurses, like the blue ones, don't take very much at all to go down. Little jump scare right there. We're really trying to get all these colored slabs for this puzzle that we have to do. So you're going to just see me kind of just collecting all these slabs. Obviously, if you've played the game before, which you should have. But, you know, I'm kind of just explaining it as we go anyway, just in case someone maybe is watching this and they haven't played Silent Hill before. There's going to be some puzzles that look like that you can't finish them, I guess. That you can't finish them. Oh, and by the way, grab these 3 health drinks out of the vending machine. It's free 3 items. Some puzzles that you're going to think that you need to finish, but it's actually because you're going to be returning to this area of the game later on. So if you see something that I don't do here and you're like, wow, why didn't he, you know, pick up that key or, you know, whatever, it's just because you're going to be returning here. So Puppet Doctor here actually respawned in, and as you can see, he takes an absolute monstrous amount of ammo to go down, and you can see I killed him with a shooting kill. Again, it's pretty unavoidable sometimes if you just put too many bullets into them like that. So you really have to be careful with how many bullets you're putting into them, because again, you're going to want to get those stomp outs. Following the way I do this in terms of killing enemies, you will hit 100 in each category. I didn't count my kills whatsoever, and I was able to get 100 in each category, so... I really don't mind the hospital, though. In my opinion, the hospital is probably my favorite part of the game. Easily. The school is my least favorite. It's horrible. Just how many enemies they put in one room. I'm glad it's earlier in the game and not later, but yeah. The hospital's probably my favorite part of the game just because the sound design, you know, like the you know, puppet nurses and doctors when they die and stuff, their noises they make and like how creepy they look. I just got slashed by that one. It's definitely my favorite part of the game. Grabbing a lighter right there. We need that for a later puzzle. Again, I'm not even checking the map almost at this point. I did pick up the map because just in case I needed it, just real quick. But, you know, I've memorized most of the game at this point. I've got my own maps probably pulled up on another monitor as I'm playing this right now, but I just kind of know exactly where to go, and I mean, you probably should know where to go at this point. So we're going to pick up the green plate right there. And as you can see, I'm still not using the shotgun. Do not use the shotgun. There's going to be a point in the hospital that I do use the shotgun. And I'll, you know, you'll see that and I'll point it out, but you don't even really need to use it there. I kind of just use it there because of how stacked up the nurses are right next to the door. So the order that these plates are going to go in is going to be red, blue. So red in the top left, blue in the top right, yellow in bottom left, green bottom right. That is the solution to that puzzle. And I believe this is going to be another area where there's two nurses, like kind of how it was in the school where they put one on each side and they can sandwich you really fast. So kind of be careful with that. Especially one's a green nurse, so you're going to see me kill nearly every enemy I run into in the hospital because, again, the nurses are pretty balanced enemies. In my opinion, I think the nurses in Silent Hill 3 are absolutely probably the creepiest ones. Obviously, the second game's nurses are the most iconic, but Silent Hill 3 nurses are really creepy. Like, most of the enemies in that game are really creepy. The real reason I'm making this video on Silent Hill 1 right now is because I'm going to be doing another video for Silent Hill 2 10-star rank. And with the Silent Hill 2 remake coming out in like 2 weeks, I was kind of trying to prepare for that remake by playing through the Silent Hill games, getting the 10-star ranks, and, you know, just replaying it. That one died in like 3 or 4 bullets. It's just funny. I mean, if you're playing this on original hardware, I totally get it. I mean, I have the original game on my PlayStation. Like, I have the original game. I think it's a little scratched up, though, because when I played through the final boss, like, years ago, it was doing some weird glitching. However, I mean, I'm just not doing it here because emulators are just so much more convenient than pulling out all this recording equipment to be able to get, you know, the original game. It looks nicer. It's all preference, I guess. DuckStation's a great emulator if you haven't used it, though. But yeah, I do already own this game. I mean, also, you know, Silent Hill's like a, what, $200 game now? So I can't really justify telling someone to spend $200 on a game unless they were really into it. I mean, it's a little bit astronomical. I think I bought mine back when it was like $50 to get one, like 10 years ago. Now it's like, you know, over $200 for a black label Silent Hill 1 copy. I just can't reasonably tell someone to shell out that much money just to be able to play it on the original hardware. So right now we're going to be picking up the hammer. I don't remember the exact name of that weapon. The melee weapons in Silent Hill 1 are just not good in my opinion. I don't use them. You get so many bullets. So right here is actually where I'm using the shotgun, and you're gonna see why, because there's 2 green nurses in this room. Good luck trying to down them with the handgun. I've tried it before. It won't work. I think I've also tried just running straight and getting some distance and going for it, but I think they grab you or something. I can't remember. So that is going to be one of the first areas I recommend using the shotgun. And it's only really because the items in there are really worth picking up. I mean, an ampoule and I think there was I can't even remember, a health drink or something. It's a pretty good amount of items. We're going to move that bookcase here so that we can get to these vines. And we're going to douse the vines in a disinfecting alcohol, yep, that we picked up earlier. I didn't really point it out when it happened. And then we're going to use the lighter on the alcohol to burn the vines. And then after this, we're going to be kind of closing in on the end of the hospital. Like I said, I really feel that the hospital is a very balanced area of the game. It's creepy. It's very labyrinthian still. I think the enemies are creepy. Sound design's great. I feel like the enemies are super kind of balanced. You know, if you get stuck in a room with a bunch of them, they can still screw you up. But they're not cheap, and you're also not going to miss bullets on them, like the gray children, because they're like, you know, Harry's height. Right here is where I'm going to use the shotgun again, because when you come through the door, there's 2 green nurses right in your face. I'm going to down that first one with the shotgun, and then use the handgun on the other. So as you can see, I've gotten probably like 6 or 7 shooting kills in this hospital alone.
What's this?
I mean, you're gonna get some shooting kills just out of the way that they get stunned, and I mean that's okay. You know, the way the nurses operate. You know, it's totally okay to get shooting kills here, but just try to prioritize the fighting kills and use the tip that I gave you about how, you know, wait for their stun. Don't shoot them too many times. Wait for, you know, because they're not technically invincible during that stun. It's just that they can't die until after the stun is over. So they can keep taking damage during the stun. It's just they're not going to be able to fall over until that stun is finished. Sorry if my nose sounds a little bit congested. I feel something in the back of my throat. I'm trying to like sniff away from the microphone as much as possible, so to not gross you guys out. I mean, I can't stand that, so I'm trying my best not to do that. There's actually really not too many puppet doctors in the hospital, and there's, man, like what, 5 or 6? They have a couple spawn locations, but as you can see, a lot of enemies actually just spawn back. You'll go into a room, come back out, and they'll spawn back.
Was I dreaming?
They only can respawn a certain amount of times, I believe. And it's random whether they respawn or not. So this is why it's kind of hard to say, okay, you're going to kill this enemy, this enemy, this enemy. Just follow the kills that I do. Because you can get respawning enemies that don't respawn for me, or vice versa, right? So it's kind of hard to tell you to kill this enemy, this enemy, this enemy, and you're good. Because of just the way the spawns work in the game. But as a general guideline, if you follow the tips that I do, follow the kills that I do, again, I get over 100 kills in each category, so if some don't respawn for you, that's totally fine. You'll still be okay. And as you can see, that stupid lurch that Harry does right there just got me hit. It's a habit. I couldn't stop. Even though I know why it happens, I just can't stop doing it. So you're going to see me just take damage from that all the time. I think you're going to see the romper right here, because I'm going to go to pick up a health drink. Horrible enemy. Horrible, 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 horrible enemy. I mean, they're really creepy enemies. But as you can see, that they just jump all over the place. I don't know, man. I really recommend just completely avoiding them and not even going for that health drink if possible. It's totally possible to get that health drink without them triggering on you. But I couldn't get it to happen in this playthrough. It's kind of a 50-50. I would probably just go wide and avoid them. You're going to take damage and use the health drink you just picked up just to pick it up, you know, so. But yeah, the rompers are... They're something else, man. They're really something else. They jump all over the place. They do tons of damage. They will outrun you. And they're way harder to avoid by zigzagging than something like the Air Screamer. So, Dahlia actually dropped us the antique shop key. Make sure you pick it up after talking to Lisa. You probably saw me pick it up earlier. So that we can get into the antique shop over here. believe there's a cutscene that actually plays where Alessa is actually like running out or running into the antique shop, so to give you a hint on where to go to actually use it. But, you know, I'm skipping all the cutscenes due to the time restriction, or I'd have let them play. I mean, if the cutscenes didn't count toward time, I would have let them play just for, you know, video purposes. But, sadly I can't, so. I've also noticed that having the PGXP correction and having widescreen hack on for some of the cutscenes actually desyncs them. So overall, I mean, I probably just recommend not even using those hacks unless you're planning on skipping all cutscenes and disabling them when you need to, and you know, whatever. So you can see a romper's coming right at you as soon as you exit the antique shop when we're in the night version of the town. We're gonna have to go into the, I think it's a mall. I believe it's a mall. We're gonna have to go into the mall because of blocked off paths. And this is where we're gonna get the rifle. So we absolutely want to pick this up. This weapon is pretty much the only thing we're gonna be using from now on. I believe I used the shotgun on Float Stinger. Don't count me on that because I don't remember exactly. Again, it's been like a month since I've done this run. Haven't had time to actually record the commentary for it, but we're gonna be fighting Twin Feeler. I had to think for a second. Twin Feeler is the name of the boss. This boss is it's piss easy. Really what I recommend is just running over here, grabbing the rifle instantly. Yeah, I think I do use the shotgun on him. I only really use the shotgun because I really need the rifle shells later. But as you can see, I shoot him like, what, 5-6 times and he's just dead? You'll see where he's coming. If you're always just running, it's really hard for him to hit you with that acid attack. And then as soon as you hear him, that noise that comes out, you know he's coming out of the ground and that you should immediately aim your weapon to see where he's at. And then just stand right next to him and unload into him. Be careful though, because there are going to be portions where he's going to be kind of invincible, so you might miss a shot. And again, missing a shot with a shotgun is a no bueno thing, so either use the rifle or use the shotgun. Either way, you're good. So these are actually going to be the upgraded version of the Air Screamer. They're called the Night Flutter. They're basically the Air Screamer, but like weirdly a little different. And they do a little bit more damage, I guess, and they take more hits. Same with the dog here. It's basically a upgraded version of the Groaner. It's going to be the Wormhead. So they're basically the same enemies in terms of design, but they kind of do a little bit more damage. They have a little bit different design visually, not mechanically. And they may take a little bit more to go down. I'm not sure. I just use the rifle and they kind of just drop, so. I do believe I get a few kills here, but we're gonna go to the police station, and there's a romper right there. I just unload into him. As you can see, I'm taking damage like crazy. Probably not recommend actually shooting these Night Flutters whatsoever, because again, they're just as annoying as the Air Screams in terms of hitting. However, with the rifle, it's a lot easier to hit them, and you don't have to hit them as many times as you would with the handgun, so. Pick up every single box of rifle shells that you can get. I believe I pick up almost every single one, except for like one. Because man, you're gonna need it. I really don't recommend doing what I just did, kind of firing off into the distance and hoping you hit. Sometimes it's necessary. I would really recommend avoiding it if possible, because you really don't want to miss shots. I'll give you a little heads up I got a .10 for no aiming shots, so I was literally on the line if we're going by the guide in terms of how many no aim shots you should really have. So there's a lot of areas in this run where I really feel like I could have probably not have shot as many enemies. I don't know. I was a little nervous in a lot of areas, so that's kind of why I made some mistakes. But hey, in my opinion, I think a more flawed run is more useful to somebody than a perfect run. Just because it gives a more, I don't know, visual representation of what is probably going to happen when you go for it. Because, you know, I mean, I could play the game 15 times and probably get it perfectly, but I think it would be more useful to somebody if they watch somebody, you know, make mistakes and try to avoid those mistakes themselves. I don't know, just a thought. We're running up on Float Stinger here, and as you can see, I used the shotgun here. Advice for this fight, obviously backing up and shooting with the shotgun. And again, you could use the rifle here as well. The reason I use the shotgun is because I'm trying to save my rifle shells for getting shooting kills that we're going to have to abuse the rifle for. And I screwed up right there and reloaded in... I reloaded the long way. This boss is really hard to give good advice on because I make a lot of mistakes here. I get hit a lot. The biggest advice I can give is just backing up and not letting him hit you with that, sting attack. That acid attack is probably going to hit you a lot. He takes a lot of shotgun shells to go down. And since he's a bigger boss, it's harder to actually miss him, which is why I'm abusing shotgun here. Yeah, you can just see I'm doing horrible. I will say, on a couple of the attempts I did when I was doing my 5 run-throughs of the game, there were times where I straight up did really well on him. I'm talking like, only got hit 2 or 3 times. I did really well. But I don't know, that was like, what, 25 shotgun blasts, he dies. Not a hard boss. Like I said, I don't really think any of the bosses are really hard, except for maybe Sybil and the split head boss, just because it can kill you instantly. Because like I said, if you're picking up every single health item, like I have 21 health drinks right now, I mean, you're going to be able to just tank a lot of the hits and just fire on him, which is what I would recommend if you're picking up every health drink. However, I mean, I guess if you feel like, you know, if you struggle against that boss, possibly that would be a good save area for you. I wouldn't recommend it. I would really recommend saving before Split Worm, Silent Hill 3, Split Head. Just because he can instantly kill you. And that's one of the bosses I struggle with the most. It's the only one that killed me in this run. So that's why I saved before it, because I hate doing the school. It's a horrible area of the game, in my opinion. I really don't like it. Float Stinger, again, I just kind of tank the hits and back up. But backing up and shooting is a good viable strategy. And again, you can use the rifle if you so choose, but I would recommend kind of trying to save some of your shells for your shooting kills. Now we are trying to break into this gate so that we can get into the sewer, so that we can get to the amusement park area, the resort area of Silent Hill, since it's the only way to get there because the road's blocked off. And so we're gonna go into the sewer. The sewers, we're gonna go into the sewers twice. The first time, it's a 50-50. I mean, I don't know. I guess it just depends on your outlook here. Since we do have the rifle, it's not going to be that bad. But I believe these enemies are called, not creepers. Well, the creepers are the roaches. It's the, what are they called? I think they're called the hang scratchers or something like that. Hang scratcher, something like that. The problem with this enemy is that they kind of follow the same weird animation rule that the nurses have, where if you kind of see their death animation, they take forever to fall and hit the ground. So you're not really sure when they're actually dead, and you might accidentally shoot too many bullets. Most of the time, they're going to only take 2 rifle shells. So just keep that in mind when you're fighting them. Shoot 2 rifle shells most of the time, that will kill them. And these items I would 100% recommend picking up, because that's like a 4-item pickup right there, and I believe rifle shells were on the other side. So you're going to want to pick those up. See, like right there, I'm not even sure. I gave him a 3rd shot, and it technically doesn't miss because his hitbox is still, like, enabled. So, you can put an extra bullet in just to be safe. But most of the time, it's only really going to take 2 rifle shells to put him down. And, you know, as you've probably noticed, I'm not kicking the enemies anymore. I'm just unloading on them. You're going to see me get a few fighting kills later on to kind of offset some of the fighting kills I got in the hospital. But it's not really actually too necessary, in my opinion. I don't actually remember how many fighting kills I get, but I was just trying to make sure that I got enough. Because since you can't pause the game and it stopped counting down the timer, it's really, really difficult to be able to keep up with how many kills you have unless you're really good at keeping up with it in your head. And I just had too many other things that I had to memorize and remember and do for this run that I just couldn't, I just did not have the brain capacity to be able to remember how many kills I've gotten in each category. So as you can see, the creepers right there, they just take 1 shot to kill. So they're easy kills. Anytime you ever see a creeper, 100% kill it. It's the easiest enemy in the game to kill, and you can rack up a lot of kills by just killing them. As you can see, the hang scratchers do obviously hang from the ceiling. I'm kind of just taking them out right here, because if you don't, they'll drop right on top of you, or they'll try to hit you from the ceiling. It's a couple, I don't know if that actually counts as long range. I'm not exactly sure what counts as long range and mid range. It's kind of like one of those things you kind of just have to feel out. But the advice I can give you on top of not missing shots is to try to go for the more mid-range shots, because you still have a good chance of not missing, especially with the rifle. So that would count as mid-range. That's probably short range, because you're going to get more of a multiplier that way. So that would probably be about like mid-range. Probably about mid-range right there. But yeah, there's not really much to say about the sewers. I mean, you really just have to follow the path that I'm going here. It's pretty linear mostly. Yeah, it's, again, just like any other area in Silent Hill 1, or any Silent Hill game almost for that matter. It's going to be everything looks the same. You're going to just have to kind of memorize where to go, and eventually you'll just kind of just be doing it based off of memorization. So right now we're actually going to have to go this way. Now this is probably the hardest part of the sewers right here, is that you're going to be forced to have to pick up a key so that we can leave the sewers. But in doing so, we're actually going to alert like 3 hang scratchers, maybe 4, I can't remember. Probably 4, because there's one off to the side blocking your path. Now, I can't remember exactly for this run if I kind of get, like, sandwiched, so we're going to see what I do here. Okay, I'm just going to go for the kills. Problem is they're extremely fast, and they're going to hit you a million times. Trust me when I say this. Just take the hits, because the reason is if you try to run... Yeah, I'm just making sure all of them are dead. So you're gonna see me run this way, and you see the hang scratcher that's blocking your path to the exit. If you're trying to run away from those 3 that jump you as you're trying to like pick up that item, that key, that guy will block your path, and then you're like, you have to stop Harry. If he didn't stop running the way I was saying before to stop that animation, he has to do the animation. The guy that's blocking your path may hit you before you can ready your weapon, and then before you know it, you're getting sandwiched between that hang scratcher and the 3 that jumped you earlier because they're behind you now. I've straight up died in that area in another playthrough because that happened. So I really recommend just kind of doing what I did and just kind of getting distance and just trying to shoot them all. Yeah, I mean, there's really no way you're not going to take damage because the rifle takes a while to shoot. But again, if you're picking up every healing item like I've said, you should be fine. Just heal off the damage. As you can see, I mean, I'm down to 69 rifle shells. I really don't know if it would even be possible to get the 10-star rank without 6 times bullet adjust, because you wouldn't be able to use the rifle nearly as much as I'm using it right now. But anyway, we're out of the sewers, and now we're in Silent Hill Resort. I'm going to be getting a lot of kills in this area of the game. Make sure that you go over here, by the way, and pick up these items. I believe there's a med kit, and okay, yeah, there's some rifle shells. Handgun bullets, whatever. We'll pick it up. But yeah, we're going to be getting a good amount of kills here because we need to get a lot of shooting kills before we get to nowhere. Because once we're in nowhere, we're pretty much stuck there, like, right? If you didn't get enough kills, you're kind of just screwed at that point. Because there's only so many that you can get. So kill that romper, because we need to go into Annie's bar so that we can start Kaufman's side quest. Because we needed to do this for the good plus rank. Now, we don't actually need to go to the, I think it's the Indian Runner or whatever it's called. You could go there. Because there is some items there. I think there's some rifle shells and all that good stuff. You can go there, but it's not necessary to complete the side quest. And I didn't want to waste too much time with that portion, so I kind of just decided, alright, you know, I'm not going to even bother going there. Down that romper in like one shot, which is kind of rare. Yeah, those enemies are just awful, dude. Like, they're awful. And right there, again, the dog gets a free hit because I did not stop running the correct way. But anyway, we're going to the motel right now to finish out Kaufman's side quests for the good plus ending. You can see the Indian Runner right there. You could go there for the rifle shells if you feel like you need it. But that's probably the only pack of rifle shells that I would recommend skipping. Just because it's kind of out of the way. Not really out of the way, but it's kind of out of the way. And I was like, at this point, I was kind of like, ooh, really, you know, hindsight 2020, I did have like had around 13 minutes left, I believe. It was like 1 hour, 17 minutes or something like that at the very end. I could have went by the Indian Runner, but I also didn't need the rifle shells by the end of the game, and I didn't need the items, so, you know. I'm just going to leave that option open for you if you feel like you need it. But you don't need it to actually finish the side quest. Make sure you grab that magnet. I've 100% forgotten to pick up the magnet and walked all the way to Kaufman's room and then had to come all the way back to pick up the magnet. Just pick up the magnet. He should be in room 3, I believe. Yeah, room 3. Pick up that health drink. And then we're going to move this shelf. I don't know, what was it? Was it a shelf? Dresser, whatever. And we're going to use the magnet to fish out the, I think that was the motorcycle key or something like that. We're going to need to use that to be able to get to the item that he's hiding in the motorcycle gas tank. And once we do that, we've completed Kaufman's side quest. And locked ourselves into the... Well, we haven't locked ourselves into the good plus ending yet, but we've done half the work. We're at least going to get the good ending if we didn't do anything else here. Alright, so he comes in, he gets mad at you, takes the vial. And pretty much that vial is pretty much what forces us to fight the, I believe it's the, honestly, I can't remember the name of the boss. Let's see if I can actually look it up here. Okay, well, okay, it doesn't actually really say, but Incubus is the name of the boss we're going to be fighting. But, you know, there's like a good version of that boss if you don't do Kaufman's side quest and he doesn't use the vial on it. But also on those stairs, make sure to grab those rifle shells. That's another rifle shell pickup. Like I said, I pretty much show all the rifle shell pickups in the game. There's not very many of them. The only one that I skipped, like I said earlier, was the Indian Runner rifle shell pickup. So, skip that one if you feel it. If not, do whatever you want. So Silent Hill is kind of, the resort area is kind of turned into this nightmare, you know, area. Kind of like we saw with the downtown Silent Hill when we were going to the mall and everything. Rompers are getting toasted as soon as I see them on sight. That one almost grabbed me. I cannot like put into words how much I hate those enemies. Like seriously, I've never raged so much in my life when getting grabbed by them. Especially when you're not playing on 6x bullet adjust like I am now, and you don't have enough rifle shells to really put them down really fast. They're so annoying, man. And as you can see, I'm pretty much just decimating everything on the street that I'm coming across. This is to solidify the shooting kills, because we need, like I said, you know, 100 shooting kills, 100 fighting kills. So I'm trying to get as many shooting kills here as possible, because once we hit nowhere, it's over. You know, you can't go back. So if you didn't get enough kills beforehand, you're kind of stuck. So we're going to go ahead and pick up that pack of rifle shells. And again, keep in mind, you cannot go over 200 bullets, no matter how many you pick up, so try to use the rifle as much as possible. I don't even know if there is a 180 rifle shells, even with 6x bullet adjust in the game, or over 200. I don't think there is, so frickin' Romper gets me. And as you can see, I'm in, like, danger health. I could have died. These enemies suck, man. I think they're kind of creepy with the noises they make. So they're, you know, they're not horrible enemies. But, man, are they garbage. In terms of, like, as you can see, I'm just getting like, diced up by, like, all the enemies that just keep hitting me. And, like, I'm trying to ready myself to shoot these Rompers because they will close the gap insanely fast. The night flutters are just constantly hitting you. It sucks. It really does. This area of the game is really kind of annoying. I wouldn't say it's difficult because with the rifle it's not super difficult, but it's still very annoying. So we're running to the lighthouse right now because Sybil and Harry have decided to split off. One going to the lighthouse, which is Harry, and Sybil's going to the to Lakeside Amusement Park. Really nothing to do here. Obviously, if you're going for the UFO ending, I believe this is where the UFO ending ends the game, if you've used the channeling stone in the correct areas. Otherwise, it's pretty much just a cutscene that you have to trigger, and then you can leave. I remember the first time I played this game, I was like, so, like, what do I do up here? Like, I was up there for, like, 20 minutes trying to figure out if there was something I had to do, like, using items or whatever, and then I finally, like, went back, and it, like, teleported me to the boat, and I was like, oh, okay, I wasn't supposed to do anything there, I guess. But anyway, that's what we're gonna do. These worm heads are actually going to spawn back. I think it's the worm head. I can't tell, or if it's the groaner. I think that's a worm head. And this is where we're going to be teleported back to the boat. And I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but yeah, this emulated version of Silent Hill 1, I don't know if this is a bug in the original game. I'm pretty sure this is an emulator thing. Same with the rain. You can see the rain's kind of bugging out a little bit, but the radio kind of just will keep going off even if there's no enemy around. It only happens a few times, and it goes away if you run into an enemy again and kill it. But it's one of the only things that I kind of see that kind of bugs out with the emulator. Otherwise, the game runs is pretty fine if you don't run the PGXP corrections and widescreen hack. I kind of like this look anyway. It kind of looks, you know, cool and dated, but while also having the 60 FPS option. I can't even remember how much I'm running the resolution at. I think it's like 8 times native or something like that. I can't even remember. I'm gonna pick up the map. I don't really use the maps too much, but I kind of just pick them up just in case I need them. So we're back in the sewers, same deal. Hang scratchers are going to be everywhere. As you saw, that one just tried to hit me. Harry's just shooting the dead body on the ground instead of the one guy in front of him. Probably one of the #1 things that just completely irritate me about this game is when he shoots enemies that are straight up dead. Their hitboxes are still active, but they're dead. And he keeps shooting those and prioritizing those over the enemies that are right in his face. And, you know, it's so clunky that by the time you try to, like, unready your weapon to try to switch targets, I mean, you're already getting hit. So this is why I'm really glad that this game doesn't have, like, health damage as a category. Like Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2's enemies are way less aggressive. But, yeah. Alright, so we're actually going to see the Mumbler for the first time here. They function pretty similarly to the Grey Children. I think they're only in this sewer. Like, it's kind of weird that they're only in this area of the game. But yeah, if you're on the PAL version of the game, I believe the Mumbler is going to be in the school instead of the Grey Children. That noise right there you heard is actually a bunch of hang scratchers coming up behind you, so make sure that you take care of these enemies as quickly as possible. Run past that one due to the ones that are behind you, because you're going to get sandwiched. And then I turn around here, and obviously they're fast as lightning, so they just get a free hit. I mean, they're really fast. But thankfully with the rifle, you're not really going to miss too often, so... A lot of your missed shots are going to come from earlier in the game when you're using the handgun in the school. Like, I imagine most of my missed shots came from there. Alright, so we do have some Grey Children here in the Lakeside Amusement Park. I believe those invisible enemies are called, like... I don't know. I mean, they're like those. They're harmless. I think they're called larval stalkers or something like that. They're harmless. They don't actually hit you, and you can't kill them, I don't think. I've never tried, but they can't kill you, so... But there are going to be some in the later game that actually can hurt you, and I'll point those out when that happens, but... Right here for our, Possessed Sybil fight, immediately run up to her and immediately throw the unknown liquid on her. Immediately. If Sybil hits you, again, you have to be at full health, by the way. If you're in caution and she shoots and or hits you, you will die immediately. If you're not in green full health, if she hits and or shoots you, you immediately go to like red health. So please keep that in mind. I mean, you instantly run into her and throw that on her. And then it'll end the fight. And we are transported back to the hospital, which is technically coded in the game as nowhere. It's called nowhere if you go to save your game here. And this is where we're going to make our second save. Now, I highly suggest, right there, that save point right there, I highly suggest actually saving there. I don't do that. And the reason why is because if you save there, you're locked in. Right? Yeah, it would suck if you died to the final boss, you'd have to redo nowhere. So this is why I'm kind of giving a... I'm kind of saying, okay, you can either save here or here, in my opinion. Right? In my opinion, if I could go back in time, I would have saved exactly right there as soon as I walked through that door. Because out of all the locations in the game, this one is the most confusing. Absolutely. There's no map. Everything looks the same, and it's and you can get transported up floors by just walking through a door. You're going to see me basically kind of, even though I've played this game so many times, I'm still going to get turned around in nowhere. It is by far the hardest area of the game to navigate, in my opinion. Right up there with next to the school. So, you're going to see me go into doors that don't open, or I can't open them yet, and I get turned around. So I really, 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 really recommend saving at the beginning of this place for two reasons. Mainly, one, if you get turned around like I do and you need to redo this area for time, you have tons of opportunities to do so, right? If you beat the final boss, let's say, and you saved right before the final boss, you don't have a whole lot of time you can make up from that save to the end of the game, right? Like, what if you missed the 10-star rank by like a minute, 2 minutes? Well, you could reload your save at the beginning of nowhere and, like, you know, make up some of the areas where you maybe went through the wrong door or went the wrong way or whatever, right? And you can really solidify that. Code here is alert, by the way, A-L-E-R-T, if you didn't know. So that's kind of why I say to save at the beginning of nowhere. Because if you save at the beginning of nowhere, you can A, redo the area for time reasons, and B, if you're a little bit off kilter with your kills and between fighting and shooting, let's say, like, for instance, you had 102 shooting kills but 98 fighting kills. Well, you could redo nowhere, right? Until that you had 100 in each, right? So if you had 98 fighting kills, you could, I don't know, stomp out 2 extra enemies, and you would get the 10-star rank, right? So there's a lot more to gain from saving at the beginning of this place than there is right before the final boss, in my opinion. Unless you just have this place memorized and you've been just counting every kill you got, you know how much time you got left. I really, really recommend just saving at the very beginning. But you could also save right before the final boss as well, because the final boss can easily kill you. I'll give you a pretty good tip on how to not die to the final boss, but it's going to require like 4 full healing items. 4 or 5 of them. We'll see. I'll count them here at the end. I can't remember how many times I have to full heal. But you're going to need a lot of healing items for the final boss. Like, a lot. So make sure that you have enough before you get here. Because if you only have, like, 1 full heal for the final boss, technically there's a way to avoid the damage, but it is so insanely difficult, I don't even bother with trying to do it. at all. Other than that, I mean, we're just pretty much getting shooting kills and killing these nurses. They're pretty easy to kill, especially with the rifle. You can get a lot of long-range kills here. As you can see, I was kind of going for some more long-range kills to help out with my aim shot score. Definitely come in here. I mean, you have to come in here for the ring of, I don't remember the name, contract or something like that. Because you can get some rifle shells. I'm trying to think. We're coming in on the end of the run here. I'm trying to remember, trying to think if there was any other things I can think of to make your life easier going for this 10-star rank. I've pretty much given as many tips as I could. Like I said earlier, and I kind of keep reiterating this, if there are going to be around 20-ish items that you don't have to pick up for the route that I take, if you want to take my route here. It's up to you if you want to skip those or if you just want to pick them up like I did. Up to you. But like I said, I end the game with a lot of stuff. I believe the rifle shells were a little low, but I pick up nearly every pickup of rifle shells. If you feel like you need more Indian Runner, you can get a good, I think there's, what, 36 per pickup that you get? Because, what, I think it's 6 rifle shells per pickup. So 6 times 6 would be, you know, 36. So that would be an extra 36 rifle shells if you feel like you need it. But other than that, I mean, most of the items I pick up nearly 90 to 95% of the healing items in the game, so... Really didn't probably even need... Really didn't even probably need that many healing items. I believe I ended the game with a lot more than I actually needed. But I was just kind of trying to play it safe. So we're going up to floor 3. You would use the camera on those pictures to get the solution to this puzzle. However, on my second monitor, I just have the solution pulled up, so... No big deal. And I believe for this run, I actually don't do the other puzzle, because the only thing in that room is like some lore stuff, but it's bugged out for the North American version of the game or something, I think. So other than that, I think there's just a health drink in there. It's not even worth putting in the puzzle solution to try to pick it up. So I only really go through this one. I believe. Yeah, no, I skipped that one. So yeah, birdcage key. Skip that door with the health drink in it. I believe it's a health drink. It's really not worth picking up. So we're going to be using the birdcage key here to pick up, I believe it's another key. And I'll just go ahead and pick up these handgun bullets since we're already in the room with them. Try to cough a little bit off the mic. I don't know if it picked it up. And we're going to use that key right here so that we can... Basically what we're doing right now is we're picking up different... I don't know what you would really call them. Oh, and these are the, they're basically just gray children, but kind of invisible looking. They're only in this part of the game and nowhere. Pretty much just use the same strategy that you would use on the gray children on them, is pretty much my advice there. We want to use the ring right there, because if you don't and you try to leave this room without using that ring, you will be instantly killed. I've fallen for that the first time I played this game. And then that way we can pick up the sword that was actually keeping it at bay. A lot of... I don't know if this is like biblical stuff. I don't know. I hadn't really looked into it. I know a lot of the keys and stuff, like Phalig and some of the other keys and stuff are named after like biblical sounding things. I don't know. But we're basically, and you can see like the Ankh that we pick up right there. Ankh, I don't know how to pronounce that. We're picking up like, I think there's 5 of them. The sword is one of them that we just picked up. We need 5 of them to be able to access the room to get to the final boss. So that's basically what I'm doing right now, is I'm collecting all those items. Picked up some earlier as well. I know in the Lisa room, we picked up one. So I believe there's 5. Could be 6. I can't remember. And Harry right there just rips open that bag of jelly beans to pick up that key. We're gonna need that key. Literally to unlock... It's not this door, is it? It's the other one. Eritron. It's the one down the hallway. I'm starting to get a little bit, like, confused, because, like, it's toward the end of the game. My brain is just on fire at this point. I'm just like, dude, I just want it over with, dude. I just want to see the score. I did not think I was going to get the 10-star rank the very first time I attempted it. But I did. So, you know. I figured this would have been the practice run, and then the next run would have been the one that I would have gotten it, but... Turns out the practice run actually was the good run, and then obviously these stalkers here, yeah, they suck. You're gonna see I'm gonna run right into one because they're hard to see in the dark. Even with the flashlight on, they're really hard to see. They're literally just invisible gray children. They have knives. They have the same grab attack. It's the same enemy, but it might possibly do a little bit more damage, and it's harder to see them. You can see, like, that star-looking item, and then this item that we're about to get right now, because we turned off the power so that we can cut that out. You can actually see that key when you're in the hospital the first time, which is what confused me so much when I first played this game. I was like, why is there so many, like, items I can't pick up, and I'm about to leave the hospital? It's, like, weird, right? But that's literally what it's for. And as you can see, I'm getting nothing but shooting kills at this point. You probably saw, I don't actually think I got really any fighting kills once I got the rifle. Like, maybe a couple? I wasn't really paying too much attention. But I pretty much get non-stop shooting kills as soon as I get the rifle. And I recommend that you just do that, because that's literally, like, doing that got me the 10-star rank without having to count my kills. I'll just say that. And right here, I'm actually going to go ahead and put all the items in. You have to be close enough, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and put all the items in before I save. That way, if I die, you know, I don't have to re-put them all in. Dagger of Melchior. The Disc of Ouroboros. The Ankh is, we put that one in earlier. The Amulet of Solomon, I think that's what that said. And yes, there are 5 of them. You can see it says Child's Room, but if you save in the other save point, it'll say Nowhere. So that's basically where we are right now. And now we are running up on the final boss. Now, here's a big tip. Once we go into the final boss room, have the rifle equipped, obviously. Skip all the cutscenes, and you're going to see me immediately run to a corner of the room. Right here. I'm just going to start backing up. In my opinion, I would turn around and run even farther if you can. I was more scared that I wasn't going to actually hit the boss. You're going to tank all of these lightning hits. Make sure you're on full health when you enter this room, by the way. 100% make sure you are at full health before you enter this room. It can only hit you once. So... the lightning can only hit you once, so even though you're seeing, like, right there, he's going to take more hits after I heal right here. Heal to full. He's taking more hits. It's not actually damaging him. It's just visual. And then just unload into the boss. It'll take something like 20 rifle shells or something like that. After about 20 rifle shells, it'll die. And if you get far away from it, you can farm some long-range shots with the rifle here at the very end of the game, just to get a few extra points. If you're struggling. So that's a good tip. If you're struggling with getting long-range shots or getting your aim shots to the specific number that you need to have it at, run to the corner of the room in this boss fight and just unload on the boss. Instead of standing right under it. You'll still hit it with the rifle because the rifle is a long-range weapon. and you can get some long-range hits to increase your score a little bit. But as you were seeing, I was reloading in the menu instead of unreadying and readying my weapon. That was literally just so that I can put in more rifle shells into it faster. Since, you know, going into the menu actually pauses the game. So right here, actually, this is going to be the baby that Harry receives. That is actually going to be Heather Mason in Silent Hill 3, if you were curious or if you didn't know that. So I don't know the exact words or how to describe it. So like Cheryl, Harry's daughter, and then like Cheryl, the actual like person, they like split off into like two people basically, and then they merge here in this game, and then they get turned back into one person with a baby. I'm sure I get the idea of what's going on, but you know, it can be a little out there in terms of how it is portrayed, I guess. And right here, yeah, I skipped the cutscene. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I didn't actually know this at this point. But once you kill the final boss, the time limit stops counting down. So if you want to watch some of those cutscenes or whatever, you can. You have to watch this, though. This is unskippable, so... This would be the good plus ending of the game, which is required for the 10-star rank, like I've said before. Just trying to think if there was anything else here before. I think I've really covered everything. We're going to run up here in a minute, and it's going to show my rank. And I'll try to go over those stats kind of fast because this is pre-recorded. And by the way, just as a quick aside, the music that plays during the 10-star rank ending scene is like my favorite song in the entire game, by the way. It's so good. It is so good. And you're going to actually see the retro achievement pop. So if you're going for the retro achievement, if you're using emulator retro achievements, you can use this guide in order to get that. You'll see it pop right here. Achieve a 10-star rank. So, mode hard, game clear 6. So this was my 6th playthrough of the game. Good plus. You see, I got gold for that. Again, game clear, you have to have 5. Good ending, good plus ending. 2 saves is the max you're allowed. You're allowed 1 continue. I didn't use any continues. I just loaded that 1 save that one time. I died to the split head boss. So, and then total time 1 hour, 17 minutes, 15 seconds. Not too bad. I definitely had 13 minutes to spare there. Walking and running distance don't matter. 171 items. So I was about 21 items over. Ignore the plus 14. That's actually a bug. It's supposed to be plus 5 or 6, depending on how many you pick up. You need at least plus 5. So you can skip 21 items, like I said. Enemies by fighting 109, shooting 112. So as you can see, following the time that I did, and yeah, I didn't get through it the whole thing, but you probably saw, you can go back and pause it. My no aim shots was like 0.10. So obviously, and then you can see like the hyper blaster power up right there at green. I'm going to kind of show that off right here, but that's pretty much the run. That was my stat sheet, so you can kind of see exactly how well I did on the run, and I'm just going to kind of load my save game to show off the green hyper blaster real quick. So yeah, just follow the guide. You'll probably get similar stats to me, and 10-star rank will be no problem. But I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed making it. It was a lot of work. Yeah, I mean, I really hope you guys enjoyed, and definitely stay on the lookout for my Silent Hill 2 10-star rank. That's going to be coming out after this. But, yeah, I think I'm going to just show off me killing this enemy just to show kind of how much damage it does. It basically does as much damage as a rifle shot, but it's infinite ammo. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll just let this play out real quick. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video.
What's going on with that radio?
And hopefully this guide, I don't know, helps you in some way. Even if you're not going to play the game, hopefully it was entertaining, hopefully. But, yeah. He died in 2 shots.
This is not a dream.
But anyway, guys, take it easy.
What's happening to this place?
And, yeah, I'm out.